Welcome back to the Female Season Podcast, the podcast where we embrace growth, confidence, and the journey of becoming our best selves together. I'm your host, Ari Bryant, and today we're diving into a movement that has been all over my feed. It's called the Great Lock-In. So if you haven't heard about it, it's a 4-month journey that starts, well, technically it started already September 1st, where people are committing to locking in on their goals, their faith, or themselves through practices like prayer, fasting, discipline, and reflection. The idea is to cut out distractions and focus on intentional progress and end the year stronger than ever. And honestly, I couldn't think of a better time to talk about this. So let's break this down. The Great Lock-In is essentially about deciding. Me deciding that the next 4 months, I'm putting myself first. Not in a selfish way, but in a way that says I deserve clarity, growth, and progress. From September to December, a lot of us fall into holiday chaos. We get distracted, and before we know it, the year's over. So instead of waiting for January to start fresh, this movement is saying lock in now. So I've heard negative comments already about the Great Lock-In, right? Some people were saying like, why not lock in before September? Like, why you ain't been do that? Like, been doing that. And I've been hearing all type of things. And I'm going to say this. We're all human beings. I'm sure we intend to complete things at the beginning of the year in January. And it doesn't happen like that. And I always think that it's important to start. Even if it's at the end, it's better to start than just not starting at all. So I think this movement is a great way to finish the year. And I will say this, I've been very guilty. Like, I wait until the new year to do something. It's like, I don't know why I do that. Like, it's something about starting the year just feels so clean and feel fresh and just more exciting. But I have to really change my mentality, because if I was to have that mindset where I'm gonna wait till January, that means I have like 4 months of not doing something. I'm not working hard, where really my goals could be completed in these 4 months instead of waiting until January. So my personal lock-in journey has been really, really good so far. So since my last episode, I've made some big moves for myself. First, I took my very first solo trip. That was huge for me. It taught me so much about independence, confidence, and just enjoying my own company. In this trip, that's the first time I've ever dined somewhere alone. It felt a little weird, but towards the end of the trip, it felt amazing. And I'm even okay with doing that now. So if it's a restaurant I want to go to and I don't have nobody to go with me, I'm gonna go, and I'm not gonna feel any type of way about it. I'm actually gonna enjoy myself. So I feel like that was an accomplishment. Also, I signed up for ClassPass. And listen, if you know me, you know I always struggle with prioritizing fitness, but I just told myself that this is gonna be part of my lock-in. This is me making time for my health. It's deeper than just this movement. It's something about me wanting to prioritize myself, and fitness is really important, and I just want to try something new. So I've really been enjoying that. I had my first bar class, and it kicked my butt, but I very much enjoyed it. And then I actually had my first Pilates class today, ever. And it was really fun. So not only am I enjoying, this class that's allowing me to help myself get more in shape, but also I'm meeting new people too. So it just was a great experience for me. And I will say this, bigger than all of that, I've just been prioritizing myself in all avenues. How I'm spending my time, where I'm putting my energy, and saying yes or no. like being very conscious of what I'm saying yes and no to. That's not easy for me because my natural instinct is to always neglect myself for the sake of just other people or just responsibilities, whatever. But the Great Lock-In is giving me a different mindset. If I don't lock in on myself, then I'll keep living for the future instead of my present. But also I could continuously neglect myself versus prioritizing myself. So I'm really, really happy that I came across this movement. But back to the lock-in, I wanted to provide like some tips that can really help because this is not supposed to be something stressful. And a lot of times people can overthink like, oh, I want to do this, but I don't know where to start. And, so I have a few tips. So these tips are supposed to simplify your life, not complicate it. So first, I would say just pick 2 to 3 focus areas. So don't overcommit. A lot of times we're thinking of 10 things. No, 2 to 3. And maybe it could be praying or journaling or fitness and discipline with your time. Mine's is fitness, self-care. And I want to say the third one could be just content consistency. I really want to do that. I feel like I've not really had a social media presence, and that's something I really want to work on. So those are the 3 things I can really think of. The second thing is setting realistic goals. So instead of just saying like, I'll work out every day, try I'll move my body 3 times a week, because small wins stack up. I've done that. Sometimes I feel overwhelmed when I'm setting like these goals that feel like they're unrealistic. And then I get mad at myself because I can't do it. And I'm like, what? Why did I make that goal? Like, oh, I'm going to work out 5 times a week. And so like, no, that's not going to happen. I have a full-time job. I have so much going on right now. Like, that's not going to happen for me. So I think just setting realistic goals are really, really important. The third thing is to cut out major distractions. So for me, I think that's just going to be limiting my scrolling time. But, everybody has their own different things. It could be cutting back from gossip or overspending or late nights. I think it's not really a lot of me scrolling, but I could say overspending, definitely something I want to cut back on. But I gotta think a little bit further before I make a decision about what I'm about to cut off or cut out. But the fourth thing is just tracking your progress. You don't need a fancy planner. You can have a sticky note. I love sticky notes. I have them here at home. I have them while I'm at work. I am a sticky note girl. And you can have a journal or, even a notes app on your phone. That works. You don't need anything super fancy. A lot of times we want other things to make it more fun, and that's okay. As long as you're not overthinking it, then I think you'll be good. But I definitely just think it's important to just track everything so you can remember how things were and actually look at your progress. And the fifth thing is just giving yourself grace. I'm big on that. Missing a day doesn't mean you failed. The whole point is showing up again tomorrow, and consistency is greater than perfection. So just don't be too hard on yourself when you're making these choices. And I think you'll be great. So here's my challenge to you. What do you need to lock in for the rest of 2025? Don't wait until January, like I was saying, to become the version of yourself that you want to be. You can start now and strong. And I think that, like I said, it's okay if you didn't reach your goals yet for the year. Sometimes it just doesn't happen, and it's perfectly fine as long as you have the mentality that you're still going to work towards them and not give up. And Like I said, the great lock-in is a perfect time for you to finish off these last 4 months with a great mentality, a different type of discipline than maybe you never had this whole year, and a way to just focus on what you need to accomplish. So I would just say lock in on your goals, your wellness, your peace, your faith, your business, whatever matters most to you. And so far, it's crazy. My year is being better than it was the whole year. And just by me making small steps to prioritize myself and to make sure that I am doing things that's making me happier. You know, locking in isn't supposed to be a punishment. It's just about progress, focus, and intentional living. So thanks for listening. And as always, this is your host, Ari Bryant, and I cannot wait to catch up with you guys in my next episode.